Hi, Firestarters. We are back again this week with a very interesting conversation with Jackie. I met Jackie sometimes back in one of our events, and after having some chit chats, I was fascinated by what they are doing matters blockchain, and I said I must invite Jackie so that she can share with us some of the things that they are doing as Ustawi blockchain consultancy.
Yes.
Yeah, karibu sana Jackie.
Thank you very much.
Perhaps tell us a little bit about Jackie.
Jackie is a social scientist. So, yeah, I know a lot of people think you have to be a techie to be in the blockchain space, but I'm a social scientist with a background in humanitarian research. So, and that's why I'm a blockchain evangelist. So when crypto bros start having conversations, mi hujitoa because that's not really my niche. So I do a lot of humanitarian research within blockchain.
That's very interesting. I think we've had all manner of use cases and people backgrounds, but social scientists doing blockchain, that's quite interesting. Yeah, and I'm great to explore more on what you guys are doing. But maybe before we go there, how's your year beginning? Any new year plans, new hobbies or passion? What are you doing?
I don't have any New Year's resolutions. Actually, this year I just said, let go, let God.
Yeah.
So, and it's been good because it's the end of January, so that's a good thing. I do a lot of hiking. It's
awesome.
It's a family thing. We used to do a lot of traveling together when we were younger, but then we grew older, we got families, so splitting the time became a little bit difficult. But then mom retired last year. Last year in January. So she had time and she was able to had us together.
So you guys are reconnected?
Yes. Yeah. So now our hiking is a way of us.
Your mom is also hiking?
Yes. She's actually in Kilimanjaro as we speak.
No.
Yes, she's hiking Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
It's actually her birthday today. So she said for her 61st birthday, she's going to hike.
Happy birthday, mom, in case you're watching this.
Yeah, so she's hiking Kilimanjaro for the next 5 days.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's talk about Ustawi blockchain consultancy. What are you guys doing?
We are a human-centered, knowledge-based consultancy. Previously, I was working for a blockchain and crypto exchange company, right? But then one of the things that was always recurring was we'd go meet with clients, and then the first question they ask is, what is blockchain, right? Yeah. So as much as we're looking for software to use, we discovered that they didn't really have a proper understanding of blockchain. So when I left the company, we decided it's good, let's start from the basics. So what Ustawi does is we try to teach and offer the knowledge that's needed to businessmen and organizations to make a sound decision on whether they need blockchain or not, or any other Web3 services. Yeah.
Interesting. So if I understand, like you're saying, you're covering the basics first, knowledge.
Yes, knowledge. Yeah.
So as you do that, are there maybe some of the specific projects you're currently working on?
Yes, most of our projects are in the ideation stage, but we are in conservation. So, there's been a decline of predators in our parks, so they're trying to track predators. So we are looking at how we can be able to track predators. Also gamification as a form of conservation. So that's very interesting. We're also doing health.
Just before maybe you go to health, I'm quite passionate with conservation as well, and just wanted to hear from you. Is the decline of predators due to human activities, or is it ecological degradation, or what's causing the decline?
It's a mixed bag, right? So let's say, because we've been having drought for the last 5 years, give or take, right? Yeah. So when the herbivores do not have habitats to feed, then they die off. And then the other group is the carnivores, which depend on the herbivores. So they tend to move into enclosed, so human spaces. Because I mean, if your lunch is being served in a plate, it's an enclosed, you know. Yeah, but then so they get killed when they're doing the raids. So it's a mixed bag of both climate, ecological, and human conflict.
So where does the blockchain comes in, just roughly, without
tracking?
Going to okay.
Yeah, the securing of data, the tracking of the predators, because they move. You know? So you need to keep a track. Even the new predators that are being born, like, you know, if there are new cubs in a pride, you need to know how many, and then you need to, you know, tag them, then put them in the system. So the tracking element, that's where blockchain comes in. Yes.
Very interesting. Yeah. What are some other use cases you guys are working on?
In health, we're doing the hospital information management system. So from patient management, pharmacy, and hospital management, right? So this are, and also medical disposable, because that has also been an issue. So we're doing a 360 in the healthcare space. Also education, you know. So we're trying to see if maybe there's a unique case going on. How can you like project this to medical students, and they can see the surgery going on because it's a unique case. So they can see this in their classrooms.
Does this have to do with the metaverse?
No, not really. No, if you have like a unique ongoing case, you know the way KNH usually have very unique surgical cases. So instead of having all these students like flock into KNH, and with all these medical schools in different parts of the country, you can actually video in medical students, and they can see these surgeries as they happen. As a way of a learning tool. Right? And then for patient management, record management, we interact with hospitals at different areas, right? If I'm in Nakuru, I get sick, I'll go to hospital in Nakuru, right? But then so information is very fragmented. So now you as a citizen, you're the custodian of your medical information. So you share it with whichever medical institution you're interacting with.
So this goes to the principles of Web3, I believe, where the ownership, the control of data is taken back to the user.
Yes.
As opposed to governments or corporations, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting.
Actually, that's how Ustawi started. Yeah, Ustawi 2019, I spent 15 hours getting a relative admitted, and then I spent 2 days getting her discharged because they had lost her files. They couldn't find her NHF file, so it was very cumbersome. Right? So, and you can imagine you're going to discharge somebody and you're there like day one, they can't be discharged day two. So that's how Ustawi came. I was like, we need centralized and decentralized.
I think I can relate to that because even from my experience, if you go from one hospital to another, then you would have to furnish all your documents to the second hospital, and you had already shared with the earlier hospital. So I get there should be a way to securely, of course, share that information, right? And the data shouldn't be fragmented. Why is it for every hospital I have to open a file, right? If you're the custodian of all your medical history, you can share it with every doctor that you meet, right? So it's the other way around. Hospitals are custodian of your patient records, right? Correct.
So, and then they don't share. So where
does blockchain come in?
The securing of the data and also the sharing of the data, the interoperability of it. It's secure. You know, you give consent, so I can share with the hospital for a day if I'm there for a day. If I'm admitted, I can do a month, like that. So
Great. So what are some of the challenges I don't know some of these projects are still in ideation, but what are some of the challenges that you foresee as you roll out these solutions?
The change of mindset, you know, like believing in you as an individual, you get to be custodian of your information. Kenyans don't really believe in that, you know. I think we had these conversations with the committee guys who call you and, nimekutumia SMS, you know, nimekutumia, I've sent you this money, please, you know. Kenyans don't know that Safaricom is not supposed to even allow such incidences to happen. But it's easy to happen. I mean, I came here and I signed in, I gave them my number, maybe
So
the Wachi will sell that book.
Gets abused.
Exactly. So information, there's a lot of abuse of information, and we are so nonchalant about it because we don't know another way. So trying to convince other people there's another way, it's usually very hard. Then the other issue is 70% of the world is offline. Blockchain is online. So for it to ati time tracked, uko mashinani, you have to find an online, then you upload it online, right? So you go online and then you upload it. So the traceability element kind of gets lost in that. So those are some of the challenges. If you're going to do like scaling and stuff like that, you have to include the people who are offline. So you have to have an offline element, but this means that the authentication of the data kind of gets skewed a little bit, right? So these are some of the challenges we have experienced also.
Back here in Kenya, we usually pride ourselves to be financially inclusive, largely because of mobile money penetration. Do you think that will play a role in adopting blockchain? People getting to know and using our blockchain.
Yes. So how I got into blockchain, I was doing cash-based interventions for an NGO, and cash-based intervention is you send cash to your beneficiaries instead of giving them the usual beans, maize, So we used to send them to it was open loop at that time. We're actually the first organizations in the world to do an open loop blockchain thing.
Interesting, good.
Right? So at that time we were sending it direct to beneficiaries, so it goes direct to their mobile wallets. And one of the issues we actually experienced was because for them they got the wallet, M-Pesa wallet, for the intervention. So they were not reading their messages, right? And you see, once you get, so you have all this promotional message, it's a mulika mwizi. So they would come whenever they've received the cash, they're like, atujaona pesa. And you see the merchant, now the M-Pesa agent, cannot encash them, cannot give them cash until they see the message. So now we had to go back to the field after we had given, the cash had been put in the M-Pesa wallet, and delete their messages, delete until they get to the M-Pesa message, which is what they use to show the merchant. So you have all these incidences. Like, we need to, education is very important, right? And then we discovered that people, machinani, they don't care what underlying technology you're using. As long as you're solving their problem, they don't care. Because if you start telling them about blockchain, you've lost them, right? As long as you're solving their problem, they're good to go. And that's how it is. With human beings, solve my problem, we are fine, right?
Interesting. Anything else maybe you would like to know from us as Firestarter community?
Yes, I want to know. Tell me more. I'm in your Telegram group, by the way.
So Firestarter is largely a community of people who are passionate about blockchain and anything related to blockchain. And what we do is pretty much the way what you guys are doing, and that's primarily to educate people about blockchain and opportunities that blockchain brings. So that's our agenda. So we have people from various backgrounds, people in crypto, Web3 developers, we have traders as well, crypto traders, all kinds of people. And our aim again is to get as many people to know about blockchain, get to use it, share stories as well as you're doing, get to know what are some of the use cases qua ground.
Okay, let me pick your brain on something.
Sure.
So now the treasury bill. So education is going to take a hit. They've reduced the amount of money they're going to give in education, but SMEs they've increased the money on SMEs, agriculture, but on the taxation end, they're going to tax more informal settling. One of the best things about Web3 is it has reduced the user fees for fintech, right?
Yeah.
So do you think this is the right time for fintech to now explore their options on looking at how the budget is being split and how the taxes are working? What's your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of businesses currently, and not even businesses, even households, are looking at ways that they can cut cost across the board. And I mean, in Kenya, transactional fees are quite high, very high.
I agree.
And yes, I do believe that some of these Web3 technologies could be, I'm not saying it's a silver bullet, but I do believe they can help in, reducing some of these expenses. And the other thing is about inclusivity. The tenants, the principle of blockchain is inclusivity. And I do believe that the more we build an inclusive society through blockchain technologies, the more empowered financially people get to be. Yeah.
So do you think the different ministries should start tokenizing, like agriculture, right?
Yeah,
if they're giving fertilizer subsidies and all the other subsidies, do you think they should have a native token?
Yeah, absolutely. We have to, even us as GoChapa, we have talked to some of the government agencies and shared with them some ideas of tokenizing, for instance, even shares in Nairobi Stock Exchange. So definitely, there are a lot of opportunities, and government should be listening and actually working with stakeholders to execute some of these use cases, not just discussing how to tax crypto companies.
Yeah.
So big opportunity. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jackie. I really appreciate your great conversations, and we hope to follow up. We'll have follow-up conversations later and see how your projects are doing.
Yes, yeah. As I was mentioning, we have a very interesting one on education about the boy child.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
So we are working with EduTech. EduTech is an organization that is in the Web3 space, tech space in education. And then of VCSM, that one deals with youth empowerment, especially financial aspects of youth empowerment. So we've come together and we are trying to leverage emerging technology to help the boy child grow into a flourishing man, right? Which is also part of the mandate of Dr. Dorcas. Yes, so her mandate is on the boy child, right? So we are looking.
This is interesting because I was having a conversation with a friend on how the girl child has been focused in terms of empowerment, and we kind of forgotten about the boy child. So finally, we get some attention on.
No, it does happen, because even in the NGO world, you see when you have beneficiaries, right? So you have this who are doing really bad. Then you uplift the beneficiaries. It's still in the same society, right? Yeah. So you uplift the beneficiaries. They do better than the people who are not as bad off. Yeah. So a lot of people tend to fall into the cracks, and that's what happened. When we did the girl child, the boy child fell into the crack. Yeah. So now we have to go and also uplift the boy child to be in the same. If we're going to look for equity, that's what equity is. Let them have a level playing field. So Dr. Dorcas or Bishop Dorcas, that's what she's trying to do. So we are now going to use Web3. EduTech is already doing that in Turkana, where it's trying to keep more children into the STEM space. And how they're doing it is they give them tablets, and then they do mathematical equation, and then they earn tokens. Once they reach a certain amount, then they can either encash it out as M-Pesa, or they use to now get the tablet for them. They buy the tablets that they're using. So there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff going on in the ground.
Interesting. And definitely we'll have a follow-up conversation on how those projects are going.
Awesome.
Right.
Utakuja hata kwa field. We should go to
absolutely.
Turkana.
Absolutely. We often, especially people in tech, no offense, but we normally we are I feel like we're quite comfortable sitting in our desk and cutting the code and building products. But we're not in the ground as much as we are supposed to. So yeah, I would love to visit some of these places and see technology or blockchain at work.
Yeah, because actually the first time we were doing in El Doñero and Garbatula.
That's in Isiolo, right?
Isiolo, yeah. Okay. And there was a power surge which fried all our computer batteries. So it's
awesome.
it's interesting being in the field.
Awesome.
All right,
thanks
you,
Jackie.
All right.
Guys, if you want to maybe follow Jackie, do you have social media, maybe accounts, in case maybe they have some projects they would want to collaborate with you? How can they find you?
I'm on LinkedIn, Jackline Gachiri on LinkedIn. I am also on Twitter, TinyJ. So that's awesome. My Twitter handle. Awesome. GTinyJ. So you can reach me on those two.
Awesome. So for Firestarter, we're on Telegram. We also publish this podcast on YouTube. So please follow us, give us a like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks, guys.